I didn't know how to trust because it was like, it has to be something to this. And then um, I learned as a result, no, this is genuine. Love is genuine. And it taught me how to trust. I learned how to trust as a result of being around the ministry. And that's something that I did not know. And then as a result also of dad. Dad took me under his wings and he also showed me how to be a better parent, and one of his favorite scriptures, because I was brought up in, my father traveled all the time. He was on this business. He had a plastering business. And so he was on the road all the time. And so my mother had all of these kids that she was surrounded by. She didn't have a whole lot of friends. So, she was frustrated. And so, she would sometimes take her frustration out on her kids. And I know she didn't really mean to do it, but she did. And so as a result, then, when I had my son, I used to argue. And one day Dad was at the house and he said, "Come here." And he opened the Bible and he said, "Read this scripture." And it pertained to, "I'd rather be on the housetop than in the midst of a brawling woman." And he taught, I'm serious, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
But it was things like that that taught me how to not argue, how not to talk with a raised voice all the time, how to talk without yelling and screaming, how not to take my frustrations out on my child. I learned those things because of the ministry, because God surrounded me by people that had what I needed. My mother did the best that she could, but as I stated, my mother is one that screamed and yelled all the time. And when you grow up around that, then that's all you know. And then when I came around the ministry and there were, soft-spoken people and then you, and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" People talk without screaming and yelling and throwing things. It all, it meant, so it means a lot to me that God would do that, because as I stated, coming from the type of background that I did, coming from, a teacher that told me that I would never be anything, that no one would ever want to be like me. And then you see God puts me in the midst of teachers and principals and lawyers and doctors. Me, who this teacher said no one would ever want to be around you and you'd never do anything. I didn't aspire to do anything or to be anything or to be better, because all my life I felt like, what's the use? I'll never be anything. I never had the ambition. And it was when I came to the ministry, it's like, hey, I think I want to try this. I put off going to college for 14 years because I didn't think I would be able to succeed. And I went to college because of this ministry. Me, I went to college. I've operated a camera. Climbing up at the time, the cameras set on pews. And I had to come and walk, because I used to hate to walk in a room where there was a crowd of people. I'm serious. I wouldn't do it, because it was like, I walked around like this all the time and people talked to me. And a lot of times my sister Diane used to answer. She and I would travel in twos, and I would always look like, walk around with my head down, and someone talk or answer, Diane would answer for me. Because I didn't have any self-worth. I didn't feel like what I had to say mattered. I didn't feel like I mattered. And when I came to this ministry, it opened up a whole new life for me. And I am so, so grateful. I am so, so appreciative, because it gave me life. So when I think about West Coast, I think about all the love. I think about how it has given me life, how it has, laughter and things. I was always serious, never smiling. And now, to just have the freedom to just laugh and just be myself, and realize that I am somebody, realize that I count, that my opinions matter.
Right.
It means something to me, and I wouldn't have had that